Hey guys, so in today's video I'm going to be doing my end of the year book unhaul. I've done 3 unhaul videos so far this year, so my pile isn't as big as I'm sure other people's are. I'm really excited to go into next year kind of on a clean slate, starting fresh with a ton of books that I do really want to read. So I'm not going to give huge descriptions because I have 12 books here, but I'm getting rid of them for various reasons. Most of them are ones that I haven't read, and I know that sounds bad, but I'd given them a couple of pages or a couple of chapters to see how I felt about the tone and the writing, and it just wasn't working out for me. So please don't be offended if I'm getting rid of a book that is one of your favorite books. We all have different opinions, and my reading taste has kind of changed. So I just don't feel like it's right for me to hold on to these books knowing I'm not going to read them or I'm not going to enjoy them, and I'd rather pass them along to someone that will enjoy them. Of all of these books, there was only one that I read start to finish, and that is Amity by Nicole Ostow. This book I gave 1 star, which is very, very rare for me to do. I could not enjoy this book. I think the only reason that I got through it is because it was a really quick read and I didn't realize I'd gotten to the end when I did, and then it was just over. But this is a retelling of the Amityville horror. There was nothing original about it. There was nothing scary or creepy or interesting about it, and it was just not my taste. Famous Last Words by Katie Allender. This one I read about 150 pages of, and it's short, so I did get about halfway or over halfway. I was enjoying it okay, and then I kind of started getting like love triangle senses, and it was just very teen angsty, and that was taking away from the spooky plot line, so couldn't do it. And then I DNF'd 2 books that were on my 17 books to read in 2017, which was very unfortunate. Struck by Lightning by Chris Colfer. I know, this is going to shock a lot of people because I love the Land of Stories series. It is one of my favorite book series. This one, I got about 60 pages in. I didn't like the tone. I didn't like the atmosphere, and I couldn't get over the teen angst. It was such a negative hormonal story that just, for me, it didn't have a point. I couldn't see where the story was going or why, so I decided to DNF it. And then Night Film by Marcia Pessel. Got about 150 pages in, tried listening to it as an audiobook, tried reading along, tried doing both, couldn't do it. Just couldn't get into the story, didn't find it interesting or engaging at all. And then the last book that I mentioned in my 17 books to read was Quarantine the Loners by Lex Thomas. So this is one that I sat down with, tried to read a couple pages of just to see if I would enjoy the story or the tone, and I didn't. I didn't find any of the characters to be likable. I read about 50 pages, and I am not much for a post-apocalyptic, I guess, and this is one that has like a bunch of teens set in a high school. It's very Lord of the Flies. All of the teachers died at the same time. Nobody knows how or why. And it was just weird. It was like original but not, and I just didn't care for it. So I am unhauling this, as well as the 2 sequels of it that I owned. I thought it was just a trilogy, and then when I was on Goodreads removing them from my want to read, I saw that there was a 4th book released. So as pretty as they are on my shelf, I will not be holding on to them. And then the ones that I'm just going to be generally unhauling are ones that I have lost interest in, or again, attempted to read and couldn't get into. And I think I'm going to get kind of a lot of hate for these, so really sorry. But Will Grayson by John Green and David Levithan. I am really disappointed that I couldn't get into this story because I genuinely love David Levithan, but I have a love-hate relationship with John Green. And the more I was reading of this, I think this is one that would have been a miss for me. So I just didn't want to, I couldn't get into it. I didn't like the tone, and it was just some of the language they were using. I just didn't do it. Daughter of Deep Silence by Carrie Ryan, no interest. Second Life by S.J. Watson, again, no interest. I will probably pass this along to my mom to read because I think she would like this thriller. But I'm holding on to her other book that I own before I go to sleep because that one sounds more up my alley. Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I've been holding on to this book forever. Although I've heard fantastic things about it, I'm just not one for fantasy. I can never get into the world and that kind of development, and it's not something that I read very easily, especially when I'm so busy in my life. So I just want to give this to someone that I know will enjoy it. And last but not least, I'll give you The Sun by Jandy Nelson. I tried to read this book. I read a chapter or two, I read reviews, I read synopsis, and it has been in countless TBRs throughout the entire year, and I just don't see myself reading and finishing this book. I tried to read her other one, and I ended up DNFing it last year, and although I've heard such good things about it, and it's an award winner, and it's so hyped, I think it would be overhyped for me, and because I've been holding on to it for so long, I don't know, I think I'm past the point of wanting to read it, which is really unfortunate. It is so pretty, and I don't know, probably another one that I'll give to my mom to read, but it seems like a waste to hold on to. So yes, this is very sad. I hate unhauling books. Sometimes it feels like a relief, but then sometimes I just get really sad, especially when they're pretty on my shelf, which I know is a terrible reason to keep books, but there are so many in 2018 that I want to purchase that I would rather have the shelf space for that. I already have books piled on my floor right now because they don't all fit on my shelves. So I'm trying to take some of the pressure and the overwhelmingness off of myself because I have 215 books on my own TBR right now. So yes, that's a lot. So hopefully you guys don't hate me if I mentioned any of your favorite books. I don't mean to be like evil or vindictive in any way. They are just not my taste, which hopefully we can all appreciate that we all have different tastes and opinions. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.